Yo guys, welcome back to another league racing video on the channel. Today we have PSGL round 10 in Mexico. And these are the standings going into this round. We are currently, not, I was going to say we're joint P4, but we're not. We're P6, 10 points off P4. And depending on how we do today, a lot of people are not racing, so we are able to close that gap. But yeah, I mean, we'll be able to close the gap. Josh Thomas kind of running away with the championship at this point, but with the form that Rudy's been in recently, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts pushing towards the end, because he is rapid right now. Like, he is, the last few races he's been very unlucky, but he's also been very on the pace. And as we head into turn 1, there's a guy that was just driving straight on at turn 1, and I got very confused about what was happening, and it caused me to miss my lines through turn 1s, 2 and 3, which really put me off for these corners up here as well. But it's a very slow section, went a little bit too deep into that corner, and just trying to get a nice lap in at this point, just trying to see if we can recover the time we lost in turns 1, 2 and 3. Not sure what he was doing, going straight on. I don't know why he couldn't have just like broke on the straight and just let me go. But I mean, I guess he does what he wants. So as we're coming up into the very tricky stadium section, braking as late as we can, trying to throw it in nice on the power as soon as we can. Now we're getting dirty air from a car in front, which is just not good. We're just losing time. We have a slidey exit. It's very poor. And
could you not
cars
just get out of the way? Like, come on, man. I had two people in my way.
Yeah, cars just
That
don't want to get out of the way.
That guy there.
Which is really disappointing, but this is my second lap of qualifying. We go wide, we invalidate, and we almost crash out of the session. I dropped it, but luckily we didn't crash out, which I thought we were, as you could hear by my big gasp. But as you can see there quickly, we have 1 second off the pace, and we're back into the same section we were. We're 2/10 up, but we just have an awful hairpin in the stadium section and lose 2/10 of time. Now we just have to try and get the last corner right, which we don't do as well as I wanted to.
Oh my god.
It was an improvement, but it was maybe about like 20 milliseconds. It was a very poor qualifying. Nearly 1 second off the pace.
Up too early in one corner as well.
As Rudy, Jerem and Linus finish out the top 3. But instantly we're into the race, and I'm going to be going for a hard compound strategy to the medium tyres and hoping there is no safety car. But we're onto 5 red lights, and away we go. We get a slightly better start than Dilol ahead of us, even though we are on the worst tyres. We start to use that ERS early, but Bath Destroyer is just upper inside instantly. They both get the better traction because their tyres are warming up, or they just have more straight line speed. But we go to the outside. We're going to try and hang around the outside of a few cars and see what we can do. But there's stuff going on up ahead. We nearly get brake checked, but manage to somehow stop and not break our wing, as Amsterdam has a moment, and we're going to use that ERS to go look for a move up the outside. And then D-Lol is going to leave the door open here. So we're going to try and dart it round the outside. Braking a bit early, but seeing that he was leaving the space, started to accelerate and send it out the corner. But we keep up the inside, but as he has the newer, well, not the newer tyres, he's got the faster compound, he manages to stay ahead. But right now I'm not really complaining. We've gained a position off of, I think it was Jerem spinning at turn 1. He's the reason there was like a ricochet effect. Not sure if that's quite the name for it, but he ended up getting spun and then causing a bit of a blockade. But we're just going to be looking to settle into this race, see if we can get a move on Deal sooner rather than later, as we need to try and make up positions here if we're going to be looking to challenge for the win, or even a podium, which I'm still thinking is possible because I know I've got race pace here. But as we move on to mid-lap 3, going through the S's, nothing's really changed, same positions all around really. D-Law still ahead of us, but we're going through a bit lackluster in those S's. Like, it just wasn't really working for me. But we brake pretty late going into here, get on the power early, brake, going around the corner. But
No,
apparently
man.
not,
What are you
because
doing?
Amsterdam has spun us round. And that loses us DRS to the cars ahead. And yeah, it's not really what you want to happen, really.
Come
I'm not really sure what happened. I think he just broke too late and then just hit me.
Oh, man.
But I
just
wasn't
away
able to
from the
report
train.
it because I was out doing a walkathon for charity, 26 miles. But I wasn't able to report it because I was away all day. So I missed the deadline, and we gave Amsterdam a little hit there, which is not ideal. But he decides to let us go because I guess he feels bad about spinning me earlier, because I guess he knows that was his fault. But I didn't mean to hit him. Wasn't trying to retaliate or anything. It just, unfortunately, something that happened. But as we're moving on now, we're just going to have to try and keep within DRS of Julie Shaw onto the main straight, and then maybe overtake him and try and pull away. Because we need to catch back up to Dilo on the train ahead, really. That's like, that spin has really ruined me here. Because if I was able to stay in that train, my tyres would have started working. I would have started cutting my way through the field. But that just didn't happen. But we move on to the end of lap 6. Activate my DRS a bit late. We see Amsterdam coming up the inside. He does go for the move, as I also go for the move. We're 3 wide going into turn 1, but Julie Shaw decides to back out. As we try and hang it around the outside of Amsterdam into the tricky turn 2 and 3. But we decide to let him go. But he has a massive snap. We nearly run wide and get a warning. But we managed to use our ERS and pull away. And Julie Shaw is just a passenger to all this because it's a double detection, so he was not able to get any DRS there. As you can hear me sigh just there, we are losing so much time right now. So nothing is really going our way. I mean, we are gaining to the group ahead, but it's not as much as we want to, because as you can see, we've got Amsterdam making moves, staying side by side, and it's just slowing us down a lot here. Like, this is not what we needed at all. We try and get a better exit on him, but we don't have any DRS as the double detection. But yeah, we're able to defend from Julie Shaw, so we managed to keep it in P10. Just losing a lot of time here, really. This race is really starting to frustrate me, and even as you can see, the Amsterdam's missing apexes, so starting to annoy me a little bit. Moving on to the start of lap 8, we are going to go for the move on Amsterdam up the inside. We clear him before turn 1 as to not lose too much time. But we've managed to gain a second onto Neil Sano ahead of us, who has a 3-second time penalty already. But as you can see behind, I didn't actually notice this now or at the time, but Amsterdam dropped it in turn 2 and just spun the car. So that's one less person to worry about right now, and I think that was a blessing for my race, because as you can see, as we moved on to lap 10, we have dropped Julie Shaw behind and we're just pulling up to Neil Sano. And him being out now, or behind us, no, he has retired now, sorry. But him being out of the race has really saved me a lot of time in my bid to catch up to Neil Sano and the train ahead, which is a bit more spread out now. The field's very spread. But we managed to just get into DRS here, and we activate it, and a little bit of ERS, so I can maybe try and launch an attack on the next DRS straight, because I need to get past him pretty much. I've been catching him really quickly the last few laps, so I'm a lot faster than him right now, especially with my tyres still somewhat being there, and his are starting to fall off a little bit. But he was flashing, but nothing can be done into turn 4. But as we move on to lap 14, nothing happened. We passed Neil Sano. I actually forgot to keep that in the video. I think I cut that out. But a very bog standard overtake. But we are using our DRS, using our ERS, and me and D-Lol breeze past Bath Destroyer. As I brake a little bit too soon there, I'm quite surprised I didn't end up brake checking Bath Destroyer. But I'm not really sure how that happened. But we're going to open the DRS. We're going to not activate any ERS, which I thought I was going to do this lap. It's my fault. But up into turn 4, D-Lol's keeping the place. He is on the mediums. He is very slow right now. He's losing us a bit of time here. But as we move on to the start of lap 16, we're able to get past him. I think that was like a lap after the last cut. But we managed to clear him and move over back to the racing line. I thought he was going to go for a move, but he decides to think better of it, which is very helpful. But as it is a double detection, we are going to be able to keep the position here. With DRS, basically, yeah, managed to get through. And right now, it is me, Rudy, Linus, and Tom. No, it's just the top three of Rudy, Linus, and myself who have stayed out on the hards. I think I'm going to be boxing this lap, but I think Italian Snow, who is currently in P5, boxed for mediums a lap sooner, but I stayed out to try and have the fresher tyres towards the end of the race. So, right now, I'm in a good spot. But yeah, I'm in a good spot. We're using our ERS because this is going to be our box lap. So into the stadium section, all we can do is try and keep it together. As we've been catching Linus a little bit, but we're sliding around. You can see we're losing quite a bit of time there. But not really going to be complaining as Rudy goes into the pits and so does Linus. Yep, Linus does box. And then look at the pit entry here. It was so scuffed. Like that was bad. I nearly lost my wing. I panicked. I locked up twice and then nearly sped. But as you look in the minimap right now, coming out of the pits, we've actually come out behind the entire train of old hard tyres. And that's a massive miscalculation from me. Because I could have boxed a lap sooner and I would be where Italian Snow is, at the front of this train. So I'd have more of a say of where I'd finish in this race. But our tyres are going to be so much fresher right now. And their tyres are going to be so slow and we're just going to be losing time. So we just need to see how quickly we manage to get through. But as you can see, Neil Sano and Linus scrapping away. Jerem goes for a dart up the inside. But Neil Sano keeps the position. And as we need to try and get a good exit out the final corner, which I get put off a little bit by Jerem there. But we're going to use our ERS and just try and get past as quick as possible. We really need to use everything we have right now. Because even if I get out ahead of everyone and I'm on like less than 10% ERS, that's still massive for us. Because our fresher tyres will carry us away. In the middle sector, away from the DRS. But right now, trying to get a better exit on Neil Sano. We open our ERS and the DRS. We're going to gain and gain and gain, and we're going to go up the inside. We're going to brake a little bit later. We set the fastest first sector because of all the ERS we're using, but we try and hang it around the outside in the very slow section. I'm not really sure what this section's called, but we hang it around the outside in the hairpin. We're going to keep up. We're going to use our ERS. We're going to go side by side into the S section, but I just have to back out a little bit. And that loses us a lot of time, and I really thought I could have got that move done. But now I'm all over the place here. I'm having an awful section in the middle sector. And now Jerem is on to us. But Neil Sano is on 8 seconds of penalties. And Linus spins. Linus and Bath Destroyer came together a little bit. And so much is going on right now. Me and Linus obviously having the fresher tyres as we box later for the faster tyres. But he gets spun. Disappointing for him. He's not going to be as much of a threat as he was going to be now that he's spun. We're going to use the ERS, open the DRS. Neil Sano is flashing. I am also flashing, but we have the DRS to go up the inside into turn 1. He brakes a little bit later. He looks like he's going to keep out, but we have the traction to keep it and able to taking the normal racing line into turn 2 and 3. And as we have DRS, we're obviously going to keep the position. But up ahead, Bath Destroyer and Deal having a little bit of a scrap. Bath Destroyer looking up the inside, but nothing done there. On to lap 24 now. I was going to go for a move on Bath Destroyer, but he's got so much more straight line speed and ERS to use. So he's going to go for the move on Deal right now. As Deal runs a little bit wide, but that compromises Bath Destroyer. And I'm looking for a switchback that wasn't really there, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't hang it around the outside. But we're going to use our DRS and DRS, and we're going to go up the inside here of Deal. He leaves us the space, but there's no room on the outside. Hits us out a little bit. Very frustrating stuff, but then I end up hitting him. I think I'm pretty lucky to not get damage there. But we're going to do what we did with Neil Sano but this time Battle Destroyer backs out into the start of the S section because you do not want to be going side by side in here. You really need to hope someone backs out, and that time he did. We have a very poor SS section. But right now, just cancelling the DRS, making sure we have enough of a gap behind Delo to not run into the back of him, should I make a mistake. But we're just going to sit behind, not cut away anywhere, because right now, we're going to be getting a better exit than him. Or at least we hit the apex, I wouldn't say better exit. But we're going to use the DRS when it comes. We're going to use our ERS of little, which we have. But we're going to just go around the outside. He tries to get back in the slipstream, but he manages to not go for a move up the inside because that would have been a bit stupid. So I thank him for that. I would have been very hot-headed after that should he have sent that. But as you can see, Julie Should disconnects at the bottom. Unfortunately for him, he is suffering from internet issues. He struggled to get into the lobby at the start and wasn't able to set a competitive lap in qualifying because he only had one run at the end. So it's disappointing for him. But right now, as you can see, we've already pulled out a second on Delo. Like, he was just holding me up the entire time. But Linus, I think, gets a penalty there. I think that's the first time he got it. But we skip away quite a few laps ahead towards the end of the race where we have completely closed in on Josh Tomo, who last time that I cut away from was 8 seconds ahead. But he's got 9 seconds worth of time penalties for track limits. And he is your championship leader right now. So, as you can see, Julie Show boxed because of his
How did
AI.
I not get DRS?
But I didn't get DRS, and that's really going to have an effect on the end result here. Because I'm really fast right now. I'm still pulling away from Linus. But we move up into the stadium section. We're definitely going to be getting DRS now. And even though I'll probably be finishing in P4 because of his 9 seconds, I still want to get the move done on track. Because there's no harm in doing that if you can get it done without taking any risks. But we get a bit of marbles there, a little bit of a poorer exit. But we're opening the ERS and opening the DRS. I keep saying opening, but that's fine. We're going up the inside of Josh. He stays in a slipstream, so I defend a little bit, but he doesn't go for the move. He didn't see a point in it, and neither did I. But right now, we're 3 seconds back from Tom up ahead, so we're on the faster tyres, so we're going to be in a bit of a tight race to maybe get into his DRS and maybe launch an attack on the last lap, which is looking very unlikely. But if I manage to get DRS on that last lap, I think I could do it. Or I would have had a lot better of a chance anyway, but we lose the back end a little bit there. Nothing too bad done.
If I got DRS a
yeah.
lap sooner, which I think I should have got, then I would have got P3.
Yeah, but as you hear me say, I would have gotten
then you might get a penalty.
P3 if I got DRS a lap sooner and then overtook Josh. Held me up a little bit. But I'm not thinking too much of that because right now we're just going to be hoping that Tom has had an incident with someone earlier on in the race and picked up a penalty. That would maybe get time added on at the end of the race. But coming into the final corners of this race, 36 laps out of 36, fireworks are going off. Rudy is crossing the line in P1 to win his first ever race in PSGL F11, which is huge for him. He's definitely deserved it. But we come across to finish in P4 behind Italian Snow and Tom Duval,
Oh, my back
which
is killing me.
I think I could have got P3
No safety car.
if I didn't get caught up in traffic or I didn't
Which
get
I
caught up in
guess is why my
stupid
strategy
fights,
worked.
maybe didn't get spun. But the strategy worked out perfectly for me because we managed to make a very good recovery from P10 up to P4, which is very big considering my lack of quali pace. But yeah, that's about it, to be fair. As you can see now, P4, and I'm very happy with this. But as I said, congratulations to Rudy on his first win. He's definitely deserved it. But we managed to pick up driver of the day in game, and I know that doesn't mean too much, but it's a bonus a little bit. But yeah, Rudy, Italian Snow, Tom Duval finishing out the top 3, followed by myself in P4, Linus in P5 after a spin, and Josh Tom in P6, who's losing some points there in his championship fight with Rudy, who is his main competitor now, who is 14 points behind. But yeah, I apologise for this video being out a bit too late. I was very busy over the weekend. Managed to raise over £1,000 for charity. But yeah, remember to like and subscribe for more league racing videos, and I will see you in the next round, which I think is at China.